So this video's purpose is really just to show you how to drill holes. So I've got some drills out already. Now we're going to go over to the front of the room on the right hand side up here. We call this our tool room. And this is where you should be able to find drills, unless of course they're in use like they are right now. But usually all of those are full. That's where we get our drills, battery charging station right in there. And then over here on this wall, when we look to our right on this bottom one in the upper left hand corner is where we have our Phillips bits. Okay, so there's a Phillips bit, and then that was the upper left hand corner. The upper right hand corner, excuse me, I guess it wasn't the upper, the second drawer from the upper right, we have what we call our countersink bits. Okay, there's a lot of different options. For you guys' project, this is the one that we're going to be using. So I've now got my bits out. We won't need the Phillips for this video. We'll need those in a later video. I went back in the back corner there where the white tubes are by the drill press, and I already got myself a 7/64 bit. All right, we've got our bits out. I've got my 7/64 bit, and I've got my countersink bit. Let's talk quickly about the drills that we use to drill holes. We have two kinds of drills. They look very similar. The one is what we call a quick change impact. So it has this little collar up here that looks just like an air hose, and I pull that in and out, and that's how I load the bits in there. But you can see right there at the end, it is meant only to hold our, basically our drive bits. It does not have any way to secure a little tiny bit like this. So the impact wrench, or excuse me, drill, does not work for drilling holes. Works great for driving screws. You want the drill that has the 3 teeth out there, and here's why. By spinning this, it goes out there and it secures the bit. All right? And so what we want then is we take those drills, and I'll come up here close here, and that goes in there. I'm going to bring this down by spinning it. You can see the jaws coming together. A little too far, back it down. Okay, so then our drill bit fits in there, and now I can tighten it up by spinning it. All right, and I've got my drill bit loaded, okay? The only other thing you may want to think about when loading your drill bit in here, I can loosen this up here just to be able to adjust that. And it's not a bad idea to pull the drill bit out when you first are setting it up to be about the same length as the 2-inch screws that I'm later going to be using to drive in there. So then I know my pilot hole is the same length as what I need my screw to be later on. And you hear it clicking? That's kind of ratcheting down as those jaws secure the drill bit in there. And then we're ready to drill our holes. So that is how you load one of these drills, simply by twisting and untwisting this collar. If you're in a hurry, sometimes once I get it kind of loose, if I need to make it open up in a hurry, I can change the speed of, or excuse me, the direction of the drill by this button right here, one way or the other. But in reverse, it opens up the drill in a hurry, going the other way, closes it down in a hurry. So let's get our bit set back up in there the way we want it to be. About 2 inches, very good. And I lock it down, get it ratcheted in, and then we're ready to go. A couple other settings to look at on our drill. We have there what looks like a drill bit, and then we have what looks like a screw and what looks like a hammer. So right now we are drilling holes, so we want to go up to the drill bit right there. Basically what that does is it disengages the clutch. We'll talk more about the clutch later. And then we have speeds right here. That's first, that's second. Second goes much faster than first. For what we're doing, we're just going to keep it in first. We're just drilling little holes here, all right? So I've got my drill bit loaded. And now what I am going to do is just drill into some scrap wood. I've got scrap wood right here. Sorry about the bell. I have scrap wood that I'm going to hold down in our table vise So I locked that in place so it's not going anywhere, and I want to talk quickly about the process of drilling. It's very easy. Basically, wherever I point this, it's going to drill. But I see a couple very common mistakes that students do with this. So I'm going to bring the camera down here a little bit closer so that you guys can really see what I'm talking about. Okay, so now we get a little bit better view here. And as I was saying that, basically wherever I point this is where the drilling is going to happen, the direction of the hole. So if we want our screws to go straight up and down, it's very important that our drill is like this, that it's not tilted any of these directions, that we have it nice and straight up and down. You may need a friend to help you kind of line that up if you need to, but really just kind of be vigilant that you got it nice and straight up and down. The second thing is I hope you can see, maybe if I put like my finger next to it or something like that, or put this countersink bit next to it, you can see how small this is. They break very easily. This one is 7/64. As the smaller they get, the more fragile they are. The bigger they get, the more kind of tough they are, as you can probably imagine. When I drill this in there, as I start making a hole, if I twist my drill in the middle of that hole, it's going to snap that bit. So as you're going in, it's very important to go straight back out, not tilting it, not jerking it, straight in, straight out. So nice and up and down kind of thing. Then the other thing is when you see these little flutes right here, those can fill up with sawdust. So we don't want that. So basically, to describe my motion of drilling, I'm going to start drilling, and I'm only going to go part of the way in, and then I'm going to bring it out to clean my flutes, okay? So this is what it should look like. Get it lined up, full speed, and I start pressing down. And now I bring it back out. I only went a little ways. And you can see it start to fill with sawdust, okay? So then when we bring it out, that gives it a chance for that to clear out of there. So all I'm doing is plunging in and out. Nice and straight up and down, and I'm all the way through, all right? So now I've got a hole. I didn't break my bit. It didn't get overly hot. My hole is where I need it to be. So here's what it looks like with no commentary, just drilling what your motion should look like. And there it is, okay? Other than that, that's pretty much it. Plunging in and out, straight up and down, and that is how we make a hole, and really that's all there is to it. Next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to loosen this, so I twist that, and I can take that bit out. Now I'm loading my countersink in there. So I lock that in there. And now I've got this countersink. So what's a countersink do? At this point, all we have are these two little holes right here. And what we're going to add is this shape to the top of them, okay? So we simply line that up with our hole, and we pull the trigger, and what's created is what we call that countersink right there. And so what that simulates then with the countersink is that replicates the shape of the head, so that our screw could go down in there and fit perfectly kind of below the surface there, something like that, by using that countersink right there. Okay, so what I've created out of scrap wood here is kind of a replica of what you guys have already built with all your pieces. So on the top I have A. Over here on the side you can see my little rabbet cut taken out of there. So that's D. That makes this one C on the bottom and B over on the right. This is not fully to scale, but this is going to work for what we need it to do to kind of replicate how you guys are going to assemble this. Our screws only go up here on A and D, okay? So we need to make two holes, pilot holes, that go through the top of part A and go into kind of the center of part D. So how do I know where that center is? It's real easy. All I'm going to do is kind of line it up, and I'm going to make an estimated mark. It does not have to be perfect. But so that mark's obviously 1.25 inches in from the end. And I'm going to square it up a little bit. And so now you can see that I got my pencil line on there. And that's where it's going to go into part D. So I know where the holes are going to go. And now in there, I want to center where my holes are going to be. So I have 1.25 inches. 1/2 inch and a quarter is 5/8. So I've made my mark there. There's my line that I'm going to try to hit. And that's 5/8 in. My board is 3/4, so let's go 3/4 in, 3/4 in. So now I've made some center marks. The center of those X's is where I'm going to try to drill. So again, this line right here in the middle, 5/8 in from the end and 5/8 in from there. And then we went 3/4 there. So now I've got it marked out where I want to drill. How am I going to drill that so everything stays where I want it to? This is called a strap clamp. All right, and you're going to use this a bunch for this project as we go. The only bad news is we only have about 5 or 6 of these, so that we have to share them. So right now what I'm going to do, this is how I found it over there. By spinning this handle, I can see this metal thing going down closer and closer to these little corner pieces. We want it all the way down there to start, okay? And then all I need to do are loosen these little tabs right here, and it allows me to pull our cord out. And I want to pull enough cord out, or strap I guess we could call it in this case, that it fits all the way around. I move my corner pieces to each corner, and now I can kind of begin tightening it up. And I guess for this project, since this is where I'm going to be drilling, maybe it'd be a better idea to have my handle out of the way. So I'm just going to rotate it once. Now I can tighten it there. And so when I pull this, it kind of catches because of these little tabs right here. So now I'm going to pull it as tight as I can just with my hands. Slide these up to the middle now that there's a little bit of tension on it. And I'm lining up all my corners exactly how I want this to go together. And I use this same handle over here now, opposite of what I just did a second ago. And as it pulls that metal back, it puts tension on this strap, which is what we want. And so now you can kind of see here, I'll hold it up close. We've got good connections on all of our corners. And right here is where I want to drill, okay? I don't know how well you can see that in the light. Let's see if I can get it to adjust. Not very good. So right there is where I'm going to be drilling, all right? So I've got that set up, and now I'm ready to drill my holes. So let's see if we can readjust the camera here. And now we got a better view of what we're going to try to do right there. So to do the top one, I'm just going to slide this down, and you can see everything still lined up nice and flush. And I'm going to start it right in the center of my X, hold down on the other end, and I'm going to start drilling my hole. Okay, and one hole drilled. All I would have to do is repeat that process down there in the bottom one, and our holes are drilled. And we will kind of quickly and now I need to put my countersinks in. I only need to go deep enough on the countersink that allows the head of the screw to fit in there. And so you can see there I've gone deep enough now that allows it to countersink in. Same thing on the bottom. Check to see if the head will fit in there. And we're good to go. That's drilling holes.